Before we begin looking at Apex Graph and Apex Script in any detail, let's have a quick review of where we left off at the end of the last course. We had built this little asset, a little robot fella. He's got little legs, and he has this turret that can look around, and we saw a little piece of animation. In this course, what we're going to do is we're going to add just a very simple piece of functionality, and that is to this turret. He can look around and aim, but presumably when he fires a projectile, we want something to happen here in this barrel. What we want it to do is we want it to squish down and then snap forward, sort of a cartoony gunshot style effect. So we're going to do that, but let's have a quick review of how we set all of this up. And this is the network that we finished up with last time. So very quickly, we built a skeleton. So we have the central joints, we have the little target joint, we have our legs. And what I've done, in addition to where we left off last time, is I added this joint right here. And where I added that is just at the base of this barrel. And then you can't see it here, but it's parented independently of this node, this joint here, to the dome. So that as the dome rotates, it will rotate this node, this joint, in addition to this joint. But that the barrel has been captured to this joint independently, so it can scale without messing up anything else. And so, having added that joint, I just went down to the Capture Packed Geo, and the barrel, part of our mesh, has now been parented, or rather captured, to this barrel root, and that's this joint right here. So that's the only change that I've made. And the rest is exactly as we had it before. And we can test our setup and make sure that everything's working correctly. So that joint, you can see, is independent of that barrel root. And if I select the dome, rotate it, you can see that the barrel follows along, but that it is independent, so I can scale that. So this is a little bit of the effect that we're going to do. We're going to have this squash down, but it's also going to expand a little bit, just to give a kind of cartoony gunshot effect. So very simple, but it will allow us to demonstrate how we can use the editing features of the graph to make that functionality, and then we'll do it again with the Apex script. And so with this as our asset, we went through and we promoted some parameters so that we can animate it properly, and then we set some properties, and then we added our tags, and an additional tag that I added was barrel root to that little barrel root joint. Then we packed it all up, so we have our base shape, which is our mesh, our base skeleton, and then our guide skeleton. And that guide skeleton is what's holding all of these properties and tags that we'll use later on. And then we went through the rig. We added an FK transform to allow us to move all of these joints. We added a deform so that we could actually move our geometry around. We added some controls with the transform driver. We added a look at control, and then we added a multi-IK so that we can animate our legs. Then we did some cleanup with configuring some of our controls, and then all of that was written out into a piece of geometry, which we then can bring back in. We can add that character to a scene, and then here we are with the scene animate. and we can animate away. So that's the basic setup. What we're going to do is we're going to sort of come off of this node, which is our turret asset BGeo, and we're going to edit this graph in order to add that functionality. And we'll do it with the graph, and then we'll do it with Apex Script. You can see how those two are identical in their functionality, and get a sense of what those workflows are like. So we'll start that in the next video.